everybody, how's it going? This is the Fandom Empire YouTube channel with our Star Wars show, the Imperial Remnant Broadcast. The date is, I don't know. I've been gone too long and don't remember how to do this anymore. I guess it's November the 17th. It's Tuesday, just after 9 o'clock Eastern. Actually, we're approaching 9:30 Eastern. Apologies, going to let everybody know up front that if we randomly disappear, it's because we had a pretty bad windstorm the other day, and the internet's been kind of since then. But without further ado, we're down a guy, by the way. There's no Johnny tonight, and we're not broadcasting in studio. It's just me here by my lonesome, which is why it's a little darker in here. But remotely from other places in Canada and in the States. First up, it's Kieran. How's it going, man?
Not too bad. Am I echoing? Yeah, not too bad. Everything's been good. I watched The Mandalorian not too long ago, so I'm fresh for that. And yeah, everything's good.
Fun stuff. Tommy B, what's happening, dude? Your hair's looking a little different. Did you do something with it?
No.
You just got it like flip to the other side this time?
I guess maybe I'm being a little fancy, a little sophisticated. Hell if I know. I'm hanging in there, you know. Haven't had to do much these past couple of days. Been taking an easy long weekend, that sort of thing. It's been good. How about you?
Well, we've certainly had a lot to do lately.
Your weekend wasn't eventful.
No, uneventful. We didn't do anything this weekend.
Next person.
We're going to talk about the weekend actually a bit here. I know it's not Star Wars related, but we'll get there. And last but certainly not least, it's I would call him my arch nemesis in trivia, but considering I can't beat anybody at this point, Thaden, how's it going?
Pretty good. I'm happy to have an arch nemesis of sorts. It's been less busy now. School's finally getting a little less busy because my group's getting ahead of things a little. It's nice. Though this weekend was a bit busy, but fun and less busy for me than it was for you.
Well, I mean, it was pretty busy for you too. Last I recall,
you had to organize all that stuff though.
Yeah, that wasn't fun. But I feel somewhat accomplished from it. We'll get to that in a bit. I gotta say, I'm on a hair kick. Kieran's hair I'm used to by now, but your hair looks different too, and I can't pinpoint it. What? Like, there's got to be something different. Oh, it's the bangs. Yeah, the bangs. Are they usually up? Or are they usually slicked back? I mean, you can't just be like,
more to the side.
Glue me on some bangs.
No, it exists. It doesn't normally seem like it exists. So that's it.
Yeah. Well. First up, before we get to our first segment of the day, this past weekend we took on the task of trying to film a big portion of our Halloween Indiegogo fan film titled Haddonfield the Vanished, which Tommy B was not present for, but Kieran was present for in costume as a police officer, as well as a PA, and Thaden was present for as a PA. I just want to say off the top, this is the first chance I've had to be on YouTube talking about this. I had a couple people ask me yesterday. Yesterday was Monday, right? Yeah, they asked me yesterday, why don't you go do a show tonight and fill us in on how it went and how everything is? And my response was basically not a chance. Nope. I'm staying at home and resting and not going down to the studio. Fuck that. That said, I just want to say from my perspective, and I'm just going to be honest with everybody, we did not get as much done as we needed to get done, but we were also aware that might happen. We will be returning to that location, although it will hurt the wallet a bit, in the spring for what will likely be 3 days and not 2 days. A day and a half will probably be work, and then a day and a half will be a wrap party of sorts. So we've sort of changed our filming schedule with Haddonfield the Vanished, and we're going to not rush things and take our time and aim to have it done by sometime in May. And that's not just for that shoot. There's some stuff that we're pushing to next year anyway. But let me just say that, and this goes for everybody else that was there, great job, wonderful job. Did it go perfect? No. There was fun times, tense times, definitely a learning experience. But it was fun to be around you guys. Thaden left Saturday night, I believe. But it was fun to be around you guys for the weekend. It was a lot of fun. I felt like we had a chance to get to know one another on a bit more of a personal level. But the most fun had to be for me anyways, was seeing Kieran get beat senseless for 2 hours. We're filming like this 45-second scene, and we were having focusing issues because of the low lighting. So basically, it was 2 hours of Kieran getting ragdolled by Michael Myers. What were your thoughts on that? Why you guys can choose who goes first here, but for me, it was fun. But Thaden had the pleasure of seeing his brother get absolutely wrecked by a serial killer, and Kieran had the pleasure of feeling it.
It was a dream come true. It was fantastic. 20 years in the making for me at 21. How was it getting thrown over that table repeatedly, Kieran? Yep, even from then.
Oh man! Without giving anything away, it was super fun, and I did get to fight Michael for 2 hours or so. Got to reenact that same 45 seconds to a minute over and over again.
He was hopped up on Red Bull the whole time or something like that.
Yeah, and I was really excited the whole time, and I know I was like, hey, let's do this even harder. And the other actor was like, "Are you sure?" And there was lots of like, "Well, I could just do this." It's like, no, just actually beat me with the weapon, and we should be, I'll be fine. So I took it very seriously, and it was the first time I had done anything like that, even though I had, I thought about things like that before, but I had an absolute blast, and I only want to do more now. So it was exciting, and the next day I was definitely in pain. I was a little bit hobbled, and but I think I've recovered by now. So.
You and I were
great. I had a great time, and I met new people, and everyone that I met on the set was awesome. And I think I immediately added most of them to Facebook too. So
yeah, that was great. I'm not always I'm not the most social person, and everyone there was like pretty easy to talk to, and they're all super nice. And yeah, some of them sent me friend requests on Facebook as well.
Awesome.
It was cool.
I think Kieran and I'm 99% sure Kieran and I were the first two up the next morning. If I'm remembering correctly, I think we were out in the living room.
Kieran did get up early, yeah.
And I walked out there. Yeah, I heard that you might have been still awake in the activity room and not sleeping.
Yeah, that might have been then, yeah.
And I basically took one look at Kieran, even though we haven't spent too much time together in person, and I was like, oh, yeah, he's feeling it. I can tell. Like, I'm feeling it just from how much I was holding the camera up with the camera cage. And poor Kieran, I don't want to give too much away, but the guy was literally flying over, 4 feet high objects onto the ground. And yeah, there was mats of sort. Wow. And the first time we seen you get, I won't say how, but the first time we see you get hit, the sound it made, the thud, I was like, oh shit, did he actually just nail him? And
that happened a couple times, and I was like, oh crap.
I remember being like, this is
okay?
the cage.
And he got up, he's like, yeah, again.
I'm like this with the cage, and I'm just sort of like, oh shit. Not even paying attention to the camera. It's like, oh no, are we gonna have to call 911? But nah, Kieran took it like a champ. I'm not gonna lie, man. I don't know if this says much for the production, but I'm not sure how you're not concussed with some of the stuff that went on. So,
13 years of jiu-jitsu. I've been thrown on my head. I've been beaten up quite a bit in my life. from doing some heavy martial arts. So, I mean, I'm not going to say it didn't hurt. It definitely hurt. But it's not an unusual feeling for me to be like, "Ow, that hurt. I'm a little dizzy."
So yeah, we'll be going back to that location. We'll have some behind the scenes photos, hopefully sooner rather than later, that we can share with people. We'll be going back to that location. We're gonna make it official here soon, but it'll probably be May. It's got to be in the first half of May before prices go up. So yeah, but I can't say what. But we're doing something else, which is going to be a bit of a surprise treat for you guys. And I don't want to say what the release date is because we're not going to get to start doing this thing as soon as we would have liked. But the hope is by like New Year's Eve, you guys will get a little treat of something, and we'll go from there. Anyways, that weekend in the books where we barely got any sleep. Tommy, man, any questions regarding anything? I know it's been a while. I know it's not the Thursday show. To be honest, I don't know if there will be a Thursday show this week. We'll have to wait and see what happens. But I almost feel like it would have been even more fun if you were there. We all could have made fun of the American.
I'm not allowed. We're in trouble.
Your entire country is on a timeout.
Yeah, we're in timeout. So.
Yeah, I mean, we kind of are getting to that point too. All right, let's keep the ball rolling, guys. The way the show is going to work is we're going to have our usual segments. We are going to discuss. Hang on, I'm pulling up my show notes here, which have somehow managed to grow legs and walk away. There we are. Let's get to the news, which, by the way, still is not edited.
The attempt on my life has left me scarred and deformed. But I assure you, my resolve has never been stronger. In order to ensure the security and continuing stability, the Republic will be reorganized into the first galactic empire for a safe and secure society.
Has anybody ever said the word society any better than that? I love it. I could just have it on repeat. Society. All right, well, in this week's news, we're actually not talking about news. We're going to speculate a little bit here. There is another Star Wars movie due out in 2023. Whether that date holds or not remains to be seen. I tend to think it might, if they already have an idea of what they're doing, just so that they can release something on, like, it sounds like these three movies will be connected, and they want to release a movie on the 50-year anniversary in 2027. That's just sort of a given. I want to go down just a sort of a wild speculation lane here of what the hell do you guys think we're going to get? I think it's safe to say the next three movies are not going to be Star Wars episodes 10, 11, and 12. That'll probably be some time from now. I do think it'll happen eventually, but I don't think that's what's in the cards. So let's throw things over to Kieran first. Put him on the hot spot. What do you think we're getting, man? Or are they connected at all?
Well, I definitely think it's a trilogy. It's been announced that it's going to be a trilogy of some sort, right? But I was thinking, I think they've already kind of denied this, but I can't help but think that it might tie into the High Republic in some sort of way. Because I feel like they're really, really pushing that. And I think if they build up like some good characters and like a good storyline, that it might have to do with that in some sort of way.
Well, they certainly have time to now. You figure if they start production on the movie in even early 2022, the movie's safely out by Christmas 2023, which means by that time you probably have 2, 3, 4 High Republic novels out. I just don't know if it's enough time's passed. And you're right, they have denied it, but before they denied it, basically every Star Wars insider that has any credit to their name were saying that this is where the movies are going. I mean,
the only other thing I can think of is, people are hoping and praying that it has something to do with Revan or Bane but I mean, I feel like the books are a good test market to see if people like that sort of thing. And it looks like it's kind of a Lord of the Ringsy style Star Wars type thing. So, I mean, to see if people really like that or they don't, might be able to test that out. But I don't know if we don't know if their plan is like totally in place or if they're going to stay fluid, and we don't know what time period it is. We don't know if they're just going to try something brand new. We don't know if they're going to skip ahead and say, like as much as the characters in the original films were the older characters in this, maybe we're going to get something that builds off of what they did in the sequel trilogy. Although, I mean, I guess reports are that Disney isn't really happy with some of the sequel trilogy. So I don't know. That my guess originally was the High Republic thing. And I know that they said, I know they've kind of said, no, that's not it. But, I mean, if people are on your trail, you always say, no, that's not it. So,
I wouldn't buy into them saying, no, it's not anything at this point. When the High Republic was first reported, it was supposed to be 400 to 500 years before Episode 1. Now it's only 200 years, and if you're still going to do something that is Force user heavy, which I think they do want to go back to, I don't think they want to go back to only, one Force user on each side sort of thing. Fans want more of that. I don't know if you can do it in that era unless you go to the unknown regions during that era, which would be possible. I don't know. I'd be for it, though. I'm definitely open to it. Thaden, how about you, man? What do you think we're getting if you're a betting man?
I think it will not be the High Republic, because I think that's going to just stay books. I know it. I'm not saying that based off of what they've said about denying rumors and stuff. I just think they want to have something that's only books, because that's what Legends was for the most part, and some games. So yeah, I mean, it could be, but I don't think so. I think I'd really like to see this, and I think it would make a lot of sense, especially given with how popular The Mandalorian is doing. It might be a show that's like The Mandalorian Wars. We might go way back and see a show that is in an era that's not all that explored in Legends, so they can do new stuff with it. And there's been tons of hints throughout current canon about stuff from there. They mention little things all the time in Mando and in Clone Wars and maybe in Rebels too.
Yep.
That are just little things, and you could totally that could totally be used as a setup for something big and new that leads into maybe after that we'll finally get Knights of the Old Republic games or a show or something, which would kick ass. And yeah. So that's my hopes and dreams. And with how popular The Mandalorian is, I think it would make sense to do movies based on Mandalorian history, like Mandalorians a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away.
Tommy B,
where they were.
You betting man? What are you putting your money on?
I'm not really a person who bets. I actually think bets are a waste of money.
You know what else is a waste of money? Yellow hoodies. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah.
The chat loves it. I saw a couple.
I was going to say the chat is loving your hoodie. I don't get it.
It looks good.
You buy the... Oh, now Thaden's on your... Okay, I'm just trying to grind Tommy's gears because it's fun to do. Plus, so, I know he can say a certain line at night.
A lot of merit in thinking we could see Mandalorians explode in a cinema. We live in a time where, and I'm going to get to this briefly a little later, although Mandalorians had a lot more to go off of in the Legends universe, they're more popular now more than ever. I think we can all agree on that. More people know what they are. They're delving into some of the old lore and that sort of thing. With rumors about another series or two that could delve into the Mandalorian lore, I wouldn't be surprised if we got a movie, or maybe just seeing Mando on the big screen at some point. So for the next movie, I think that's a good guess. I gotta tell you, I have a hard time committing to the High Republic being movies. At the same time, I know that one reason that I have a very hard time, and it's probably the main reason, a very hard time committing to that is because under old leadership, they didn't want to mess with things like the Old Republic on the big screen or in high-profile projects beyond KOTOR. So I would really like to see it. Get outside that era, if you will. Get into the bigger galaxy, across the eras, so on and so forth. I would like to briefly add, slightly off topic, for 2027, if I had to pick what I want to see in 2027, it would be something in the aftermath of the original trilogy. Problem is, I'm pretty sure that's what Aftermath is, the book. So I'm also not a big fan of what happens, long term. The Jedi didn't go the direction I would have liked. I guess the New Republic survives for a very long time, so there are stories to be told in that realm, but I'm also, from a certain point of view, comparing the Legends canon versus the Disney canon, so there are problems when we do that. So.
I mean, to each his or her own. People have their preferences, and that's understandable. I don't think it's the High Republic. I don't think we're getting specifically Din Djarin on the big screen. I think when you have him be your Disney Plus character, and there'll be other Disney Plus characters, that's the format they will be shown in. I don't think you're going to see crossovers. I don't have anything definitively to... no, don't. I don't have anything definitively to, say, yeah, for certain, this is what I think is coming. But I will say, if I was putting a lot of money on something, in a vague matter, it would be before the Phantom Menace. Something is going to come before the Phantom Menace. I do, and now it could be 100 years, it could be 5,000 years. I'm just saying it'll be placed before the Phantom Menace, and I do think one of those things is the Mandalorian Wars. I don't know if that'll be on the big screen, but there's been this slow build up to stuff with Mandalorians, and you go Mandalorian Wars, you can now bring Revan in. So, I'd be totally cool with that. But again, you got to wonder, can you properly do the Mandalorian Wars in 3 movies? Debatable. How
long? Because that's not something we ever really delve into in KOTOR. Maybe they did in a comic or something. How long was the actual period of the Mandalorian Wars?
I think it's 5 years, maybe. That might be including. That might be 5 years of war before Knights of the Old Republic as well. Though I'm not sure.
I don't think they can do that in 3 movies. They couldn't do the Clone Wars and the prequel trilogy.
The original trilogy is 4 years of war.
Kieran looks like he's lost in thought.
I'm just trying to think. So if they did that, how are they going to fit Boba Fett in there so that they can sell toys?
Cassius Fett, one of the leaders of the Mandalorian armies during the Mandalorian Wars.
Introducing Maul Fett.
Is he just a red Boba Fett or what?
He's gold. He actually doesn't look anything like Boba Fett.
Poor Kieran.
Like the Mandalorians back then.
Intel Wildin with a super chat. Hey guys, driving home from work and listening in. Keep up the great content. Appreciate it, sir. Continuously supporting our mother Canucker asses, and it's greatly appreciated. Minus Tommy, who of course is not a mother Canucker. He's more of a mother. I don't know. I got nothing for that.
Well, at least he showed up today.
Right? Unlike some people who've missed 2 of the last 3 shows. And you can bet your ass he's not watching. And if he is, then, you know, I don't care. But, yeah. I don't know, man. Like, it's the first time that I can remember, even though we're far out from the next movie, where it's like, okay, I legitimately don't have any idea what this movie's going to be. And to be honest, I don't think we're going to have any idea until the next Star Wars Celebration. I mean, I think we'll have a better idea when the next Star Wars Celebration comes around, because they'll probably have a cast announcement and you'll get to meet the director. And I wouldn't be surprised if Taika Waititi is one of the directors of this trilogy since he was announced. I wouldn't be surprised if somehow they've decided they're going to go Taika Waititi, Rian Johnson, and someone else. But with a much, more blended together story. I don't think Ryan's getting his own trilogy anymore. I don't think there's a chance in hell it happens. And it's not because of The Last Jedi. It's just because clearly they intended to do something sooner than what it's been. And it's not even mentioned anymore. And Ryan's a busy guy who's doing all sorts of different things. I want to see a Rian Johnson Star Wars movie where he's not touching, legacy characters, basically. Although now I'm having nightmares of Rian Johnson touching Revan, so maybe not.
That's a big problem that I deal with. We keep talking about Revan and the Old Republic and all, but honestly, it could look like nothing like we know it. I mean, they could end up totally cutting out the Sith arc of Revan's life. What are you going to do?
Nah, there's too much Darth Revan merchandise out there that they're still pumping. That's possible. It's possible that they might keep Revan strictly as a Sith / anti-hero.
Yeah, it's hard when you say, like, totally I love Revan and I want to see him on the big screen, but you're not going to get your Revan on the big screen. You're going to get a new Revan, right?
I think that's why this would kind of work. If the trilogy that I'm thinking of, the Mandalorian Wars, was like trilogy of movies, you could have Revan in them as I guess he could be the protagonist. Revan was a character who you didn't play as for a while, and then amnesia happens, and then after that, like, maybe it ends with Malik betraying them or something, and then, or maybe it doesn't end then, I guess. But, like, you could have Revan show up later in Knights of the Old Republic reboot, and it could be your own Revan, and you could play them however you want. I think there's still plenty of room for that.
It'd be cool, and whether it's Revan or just someone completely random, and I don't really know why they haven't done this yet, is we'll work off of it as if it's Revan, specifically Darth Revan, but even if it was someone else, why not tell the new story from the Sith perspective? That doesn't mean make them good guys. Make it very clear that they're bad guys, but they could be the focus, and the good guys are the secondary characters. I would absolutely be okay with that because it's something Star Wars has never done.
Yeah. Even when they advertise they're going to do it, like with friggin' Battlefront 2, they 180 on that in like an hour.
Right.
Into the game.
Oh, by the way, they're actually kind of good.
Yeah, they kind of did that with Squadrons, but that's only like half the story. So it's better than usual, but yeah.
It is Disney. I don't know.
But I don't know if we will see it. It's hard to have a story from the villain's perspective, too, because then you don't sympathize with the main characters that much. It's always a difficulty you run into.
If anything ever got close, I would say the Old Republic was the closest because it's an MMO.
Yeah, because that game does do a good job of that. But it's easier in a game, too, I think, because then you are playing as the character, whereas if it's a movie, you're just watching them do bad things. So I don't know. It's a tough thing to tackle, bringing anyone like that, Revan, or an era like that into new canon isn't going to be easy. And no matter what, there's going to be some people who hate it and some people who love it.
Absolutely. Well, I'm sure we will be continuing this particular conversation over the next year or so while we wait for something official to be announced. In the meantime, let's move on to our light speed countdown. Alrighty, this week's Lightspeed Countdown provided to you by Kieran. I believe it was his idea. It is the top 5 Star Wars book characters. Now, I believe we made the rule that the character is allowed to appear on TV as well, but they had to originate from a book. So why don't we go counterclockwise for once? Start with Thaden, go to Kieran, Tommy, and then myself. We're going to give you the 5, 4, 3, and then we'll come back for our penultimate and number ones. Thaden, take it away, man.
All right, so my 5th one is kind of weird because I had some choices between characters I didn't remember all that well. But I went with Yurika Quell. She's the main character of Alphabet Squadron. I only read the first one, but I remember she was pretty cool, and like she was an interesting character who like wasn't just a clean-cut good guy at all. She did some bad stuff in the past, so that was really cool. And she's a pilot. Pilots are always cool. My number 4 is Vi Marati, who is from the Phasma book and Black Spire, and she actually also is at Galaxy's Edge if you go there. But that kind of doesn't really count. And she's like a spy for the Resistance, and she's really good at what she does. She's, I don't know, all the time you feel like she's manipulating the situation she's in, even though she's being interrogated for like the entire first book she's in. And it's really cool. My number 3 is actually the person who's interrogating her for that first book. It's Captain Cardinal. He's a cool red stormtrooper guy. But he's interesting because he's like a stormtrooper who kind of like, he just follows orders, but he thinks what he's doing is good. And they kind of go into that and like dive into why he thinks what he's doing is good and if it is really good. And it's interesting. I haven't seen it before, though I'm sure it exists somewhere else as well. So that's my 5, 4, 3. I think Kieran.
Okay. My 5 is probably way higher on a lot of people's lists. But I'm going to throw it in there just because of the importance of the character. And I really liked where the character started off, but I didn't enjoy her as much as other people did. It's Mara Jade Skywalker. Yeah, a lot of people enjoyed the character, and it's like I don't know, she's definitely a hero to a lot of people. I guess she was like voted one of the most popular characters in the Legends canon that wanted to be brought back in, and I really liked where she started in the Thrawn trilogy, the original one, and I really liked how the character went back and turned from evil to good. But once she became like a main character, I enjoyed her a lot less than other people did. But I'm going to throw her in there just because of the importance. Number 4, I have Rael Averross, who is a character. He's the cowboy Jedi. He's definitely he's written as a cowboy Jedi. If you hear him in the Dooku audiobook, he sounds like a cowboy Jedi, and that's basically how he's described.
He talks all down low like a cowboy.
He's either a cowboy or he's like a dirty hippie, but either way, he's a fantastic character, and his part in Master and Apprentice is really awesome because you feel super bad for him. He was definitely very sympathetic. And my number 3 is Jason, specifically from the New Jedi Order books. I really like where his character starts off. I know where his character goes, but I'm a little bit rusty on that, so I'll be more excited when it happens. But
Legacy of the Force is so good, man. So good.
like I know where it goes, and I remember like I just don't remember reading it that well, which is why I'm going over the whole series again. But where he starts, I really love how he questions the Jedi and the Force and how it's to be used. And he also basically says like he just wants to, like, he's like, you know what, I don't want to be a Jedi anymore if this is what the Jedi are. And I know Luke convinces him to stick around for a bit, but I liked how the character's written. I think it's a great character.
Oh, right. That's 3. Yeah, Tommy.
Okay. Let's get into this. I'm wondering if I'm going to get hate about this. My number 5 at the bottom of my list, I put Jaina Solo. Number 4, Mara Jade Skywalker. And number 3, Jason Solo. I really struggled with keeping, the Solo twins not out of the top 2 for my list, because there are just other characters that I like more personally. But the fact that you get to go through them from the time of their birth, I forget what book that is, all the way up through the different events their lives take with their end game. It's great, really enjoyable. I have to make a confession here. I didn't read a lot of the stuff that deals with Anakin Solo as he gets older with the war and what have you. So I can't really speak to him fairly. I know there are others who might have a little more input on that, but for now, that's my 5 through 3.
Well, I just want to say that I love the characters of Jason Solo and Mara Jade a lot. Like, I think both characters are better than basically any of the sequel trilogy characters by a landslide. They're not in my top 5. Cutting it down to 5 was hard.
Really? Really?
My number 5 is Ben Skywalker, aka Ben Solo. At least half of Ben Solo, because Ben Solo is basically Ben Skywalker and Jason Solo fused into one. I just like his story. I like that we get to see a younger character sort of take the main stage for a bit, and you get to see the world from their point of view and how things are changing. I mean, he's obviously front and center for what happens with Jason and then what happens with his mom, and we go on after that with Fate of the Jedi. I just love the character. I really resonated with it. Number 4 for me is Jaina Solo, a.k.a. Mrs. Sword of the Jedi. Love her story, basically from start to finish. She starts off like really annoying, like that almost like pain in the ass sister that you can't get rid of. And yet she starts to become a fan favorite and an integral part of the books moving forward. And number 3 for me is Mr. Jaina Solo, a.k.a. Jagged Fell, who appears in the books here and there well before New Jedi Order, and then again during New Jedi Order and Legacy of the Force, and then he's really front and center in Fate of the Jedi. And I just I feel like they were trying to make Finn kind of like Jagged Fell, but it just didn't work. I love the character. Jagged Fell, 3 for me. Back to you, Thaden.
All right, so my number 2 is also keep in mind I haven't read like any Legends books, so yeah. My number 2 is Sayn Marana. She's from the Inferno Squad book. She's actually the 4th member of Inferno Squad, and she has an eidetic memory, and the way they write that is so damn good. It's kind of like it's a useful tool, but they also go into like, yeah, it's great, but I also remember all of the awful feelings I've ever had, and it's pretty bad because I can't forget that stuff. And yeah, I don't know, it's really cool. She's a very well-written character, and she's really interesting in that book. And my number 1 is actually from comic books. because I couldn't not put her. It's Dr. Aphra. She's the best. She's hilarious. And she does lots of great heists and stuff. She has some great robot companions, and she's kind of just an awful person, and it's great. So yeah,
she's been rumored for a while to get her own animated show. Well, it'll be interesting to see if it happens.
She was briefly rumored to show up in Mando season 2 as well.
Could happen.
I don't think that's happening at this point.
I never know. Still more than half a season to go. Kieran, what do we got, man?
Well, Thaden, we already got Dr. Mandible, so what do we need another doctor for? Man, that guy was awesome. Threw me off there. My number 2 is Darth Bane, because the Darth Bane books are fantastic. So I don't know. I don't know. That's my favorite book series of all Star Wars books. I enjoyed them so much. They got me back into Star Wars books, and the characters written super well. I don't know what else to say. We've talked about Darth Bane quite a bit. I'm blanking on who my number 1 is because I'm going from memory. I had the list all the way up to there.
You can't even remember your favorite.
I was going to say, I could see blanking on like 5 or even 4, but my number 1, I don't remember.
Well, I'm
surprised it wasn't Bane, actually.
This is a usual character trait for me. Oh, that's what it is. Yeah, okay. It's Corran Horn.
That's what I thought it might be.
Yeah, no, that's who it should be. I have brain problems sometimes. Yeah, no, it's Corran Horn. I really relate to the character super well. He's written almost as like a younger version of myself in a way, like that. I'm just the way that he thinks about things. Obviously, I don't have any of his superpowers or anything like that. And fun fact, I just reread I, Jedi, where he uses the name Kieran as his first name, as his alias. So I thought that was like, I was like, oh my God, it's a sign.
That's why he's your favorite.
Yeah. No, that's exactly why. No, I think he's great. He, to me, he's like a character who was like he's written as a knight, or he's written.
I'm blanking on him and Kip. Which one is it that barely can use the Force? Is it Corran or Kip?
Corran can't use the Force in a lot of ways other people do. Like, he can barely use TK at all, but he uses thought suggestion a lot. Mm-hmm. Kip, Corran and Kip are kind of adversaries at the start of New Jedi Order, whereas Corran follows Luke in his way of sort of more like the living Force. Kip is more like the Mace Windu type of, like, Jedi police type of character. Nice. And I believe Kip's more powerful in the Force, other than the fact that Corran can make people think things.
They're definitely two mainstays in, I don't mean the series, but basically when it comes to Legends, Luke's Jedi Order.
Yeah.
That's a good pick. Good pick. I like it. Tommy, what do you got at 2 and 1, man?
I'll say, I'd said earlier, I'm going through my collection. I'm getting rid of a lot of my Legends books. It's just time. I got to clean out my bookshelf.
Time out.
I got a hoard going.
I'm sorry. You're getting rid of your Legends books?
A bunch of them. I'm keeping the most important ones to me, but I got too much of a hoard here. I'm not going to read most of them ever again. Like the Scholastic books everyone likes.
That was timed really well.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, right. I mean, I'm keeping the ones that are most important to me, but I've read a lot of Star Wars books over the years, so it's time. I'm ready to make that jump. But yeah, I dusted over I, Jedi, and I'm thinking I'm going to keep that one. I really enjoyed that. What I enjoyed more than I, Jedi, and what I'll go on to say is almost certainly, maybe, my favorite series. It gets hard when you compare it to the Thrawn trilogy. the Karen Travis novels, Republic Commando, through Imperial Commando. There should have been an Imperial Commando 2, but it got canceled. She walked away because the canon started winding down on Mandalorians, and it got real messy. And from that, because I could have made this whole list just characters from the Republic Commando, Imperial Commando series, I ripped out Cal Scarada. I believe Cal doesn't appear till book 2, but with Cal, you get a lot of Mandalorian lore. He's steeped in the tradition. As a clone instructor on Kamino, he teaches the clones about being Mandalorian, and they're ingrained in that culture. And they got the Mandoa language. They got the cultural customs and terminology, fighting styles. It's great. It goes into just a little bit of everything, and it comes together with clones being people and having relationships and a lot of other stuff, which ends up getting tied into Legacy of the Force later, decades and decades later. But anyway, not my favorite series, but real close and definitely the best character origin. And my favorite as a whole, I put for my number 1 was Darth Bane. Darth Bane is, he's always been pretty much my favorite Sith Lord. My Skype name is actually Lord Bane something, one of my numbers. So, yeah, I've been in Darth Bane for forever. Definitely a good series. If you haven't read either of these series, the Republic Commando and Imperial Commando novel, or the Darth Bane trilogy, I would definitely recommend to delve into them to get the opportunity.
Well, I mean, they're going to have the opportunity since you're throwing all yours away like a hater.
I'm not throwing those away. I said the ones I'm never going to read again. Like, there's a chance I might
give us
those.
A couple titles. What are the titles you're throwing away?
Sure. I am
just a couple, because we got to keep moving.
All right.
See how fast Tommy can get kicked out of the call.
Shadow Academy, Young Jedi Knights, Darkest Night. I think this is where you see Lobaka for the first time. Young Jedi Knights, Lightsaber.
Yeah, I won't lie. You can, even though it's heavy with the twins, you can get rid of that whole series.
Yeah, and I also got like the Jedi Apprentice, where you see Obi-Wan as he's real young, and watch him grow up as being being a youngling and becoming a Padawan to Qui-Gon, and you see Qui-Gon's old apprentice Xanthos. And yeah.
Interesting.
So I got a lot of that stuff. I also have a few bigger novels I'm going to get rid of, but I'm keeping others like the ones I just talked about, the Thrawn ones I have. I seem to have lost my copy of Last Command, so that's sad. I got the Jaden Core novels. I'm going to hang on to them. Dark Plagueis, and so on and so forth.
Well, I mean, you got to do what you got to do. I'm trying to expand my collection, not shrink it. So, number 2 for me.
Come get mine. You can have them.
Number 2 for me is Talon Card. What an incredible character. I'm telling you guys, when we sit down and go over the Thrawn Trilogy audiobooks, you guys are going to absolutely fall in love with Mark Thompson as Talon Card. I'm telling you, I'm betting you right now that not one of you are going to dislike this character. And number 1 for me is a given, Grand Admiral Thrawn, for several reasons. Originated from books, went to TV. I'm sort of I like him on TV.
You said book only.
No. You changed the rules, my friend.
Oh.
Let's go with Legends Thrawn to make this easy.
Yes, Legends Thrawn.
I'm assuming that's what you mean anyway.
I'm sure Thrawn would have made other lists.
Yeah.
No.
Go on.
Poor Kieran.
I'm checking the message.
I see. I took it as if you meant the character had to originate from a book. So that could have been my misunderstanding. But
Top 5 book-only characters. This is your notes.
Right, but then you changed the notes.
I did change the notes because I suggested characters who only made token appearances in the Disney canon, like Darth Bane.
Oh, I didn't say Thrawn is the same as that.
I would not say Thrawn's appearance is a token appearance.
Definitely the main antagonist for like 2 seasons, which is half the show.
Yep. No, they had him disappear in season 4. He disappeared for like half of the season.
I changed my number 1 to Qui-Gon Jinn.
Did he appear in a book first? I mean, technically, Jyn Erso appeared in a book first. Same with Cassian Andor. So
not great characters.
No, they're not.
They're okay, but
they're right up there with Rey Skywalker. All right, all righty. Let's keep the ball rolling here, people. It's time to talk about nothing unless my page wants to change.
Time to talk about Mando, I assume.
Yes, Mandalorian Chapter 11, which means it's time for the Council. Well, we caught that on cam just in a nick of time.
I was drumming. Kieran started it.
It's time for the Council, where it's our primary topic of the show, although it's kind of even balanced tonight. Let's talk about Mandalorian Chapter 11. What was it titled again? The
Heiress.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I mean, we all know what the big thing is on this one. Bo-Katan makes her live action debut. Let's just go around the table here and just initial thoughts on the episode, starting with Thaden.
It's amazing. It was like the first one was awesome, but this is definitely my favorite of the season so far. Even though it's so short, they did so much in so little time, and Bo-Katan got to be in it so much, and she was awesome. And she looked so accurate to the Clone Wars and Rebels that there's parts where you see pictures and it looks like it's actually from Clone Wars or Rebels, which is really weird but awesome. And well, yeah, if we're just talking about Bo-Katan right now, she was just badass. She was like the best part of the episode for sure.
Frank Recker says Thaden needs to do that shirtless. All right, Frank. Okay. Kieran, thoughts?
My thoughts are
it's time.
Nice shirt.
I really liked the episode. I don't think I liked it as much as other people did, but I did really like it. I actually still like the first episode more. I think I was more impressed with Cobb Vanth than anything that this episode offered, but I did really like it. It went by really quickly, but some parts I really did like. I loved every time the other Mandalorians showed up. They had this really cool techno music, and they like matrixed everybody out and beat the crap out of everybody really quickly. And it was cool to see Mando with other Mandalorians. And I also really thought the Quarren were done really well. And other than the first Mon Calamari, the first guy that you see seems like he's a little bit lazy-eyed, but other than that, the other Mon Calamari that you see in the bar and things look awesome too, and that really, really drove it home for me. I loved it. It really immersed me.
Nice. Tommy, initial thoughts, man?
Did we ever get Quarren? live action.
Yep, prequel trilogy.
Was there one featured in Attack of the Clones?
Prequel trilogy.
There's one in episode 1 of Mando 2.
Yeah.
Really?
In the bar.
No,
Well,
we're lying.
Anyway, I feel like they really did this whole, aquatic planet thing really well. I really appreciated that. And then we get to see, Din Djarin going all commando with the other Mandalorians, and of course there's the cultural headbutting and such, but they get over it a little bit, enough to do what they gotta do. And I'm struggling with where, now that I'm thinking about it more, if I want to call this my favorite of the 3 episodes so far, because while this episode was fantastic, and I'm a big major fan of Clone Wars and Rebels, and I loved seeing Bo-Katan, the episode was 32 minutes, 33 minutes. That's not really the best metric to measure an episode's quality on, but I feel like it did move a little bit quicker than I would have liked. I would have rather seen things paced out a little more and give a little more time to the cultural headbutting, and let's learn a little more now rather than wait till later. Whereas the episode 1, the season premiere, it was 52 minutes. We got plenty of time to do what had to be done, and so anyway, overall, I loved the episode, and I really hope we get to see Bo-Katan again very, very soon, along with the other 2 in her Night Owl crew.
I'm glad that Tommy and Kieran managed to take off the rose-colored glasses for this, and be fair to the episode, because I think it's important to be fair.
Yo, Bo-Katan! Oh, this is the best thing ever! Yeah.
Well, there's a lot of people going on about that it is the best thing ever, and
Bo-Katan's great.
I got to be honest. I didn't buy her at all. The wig was ridiculous. She doesn't sound anything like she did in the Clone Wars.
It's the same actress.
I know. I'm totally fucking with you.
Okay. I was like, wait.
I was hoping you'd let me get further than that before you called me out, but all right. No, she's wonderful. The wig though, I did kind of find a bit jarring, just because I know Katie Sackhoff as an actress, and I don't think you needed the wig. Enough times passed where her hair could be just normal, and it was a wig, make no mistake about it. But
I feel like too many people would complain.
Well, just dye your hair a bit. Like, I don't know. The wig just, again, small things. The episode length sucked, though. Like, we get this awesome episode, and it has to be rushed. I think it's listed at 34 35 minutes. But you take out the end credits and the intro and the recap, and it's basically a 29-minute episode. And it's unfortunate because not only are the Mandos badass in it, I love the part where Frogman and Frog Girl reunite. I thought that was there was more believable emotion in that than there was in the entire sequel trilogy. And I'm not saying that to be a dick. Like, I actually felt like, wow, okay, I feel for these guys. This is awesome. And I thought that, I don't remember the character's name, but it's the dude from Sons of Anarchy and Bosch, and the head Imperial guy, was just, he played Jimmy O'Fallon in Sons of Anarchy, was such a good Imperial, way more believable as a villain than a lot of villains we've seen in any Star Wars content for a while. So I liked it, but again, it was too short. I don't know if that's because Bryce Dallas Howard was directing it, and she doesn't have a whole lot of experience. It just, it's a bad trend when we start from 52, go to 40, Now at 35, these don't include recaps or outros or anything. Is the next one going to be 29 and is actually 24? Is Dave Filoni's episode, which I'm sure will be the Ahsoka episode, going to be 26 minutes? So it's actually only 21 minutes of actual footage, like a normal animated episode. You got to break that trend, you know. It's just, it's bad. You know, you can't do that. That said, I really liked the episode. I thought it was really good. I don't think we get to spend enough time with the characters, so hopefully Bo-Katan's back. But I'm with Kieran. As much as I like this episode, it's a far cry from Cobb Vanth in the first episode, albeit I'm biased. I have a huge man crush on Timothy Oliphant. I thought the first episode's a lot better, but it probably should be. I mean, you got an actor of Timothy Oliphant's caliber in there. You have Jon Favreau directing. You know, it probably should be a better episode, and you spend more time with the character. That said, I really did like the episode, and so far, in my opinion anyway, and I realize I'm alone here, there hasn't been a bad episode yet, but there's been some things to nitpick. Did anybody have a favorite part of the episode?
Yeah, you love the spiders. That's right. You like the creepy crawlies.
Did anybody have a favorite part or a least favorite part of the episode? Feel free to chime in, whoever.
I want to say I really liked, I'm not sure if I heard it right, but I think I did. When, like, just before the guy hits Baby Yoda into that, like, pool with the big squid monster, I'm pretty sure he says, like, we got to feed Mama Corrin. So that might just be what a Corrin female is. It's that big, giant tentacle monster, and we've never seen a female Corrin other than that, which is like just wild, crazy, weird world building. So he kind of mumbles it, so it's hard to tell, but that's what it sounds like. And I really like that because it's just ridiculous, crazy Star Wars ridiculousness. It's not my favorite moment from the episode or anything, but I thought it was really cool.
That's one hell of a deep dive.
Yeah, it was ridiculous.
Wow.
I watched the episode a second time today, and I noticed that, and I was like, wait, what? And then I went back, and yeah, it sounds like that's what he says.
The only episode I've seen twice so far is the first one. So, Kieran, how about you? Favorite and least favorite moment?
You know what's funny? I mean, I don't know if this ties into moment or not, but one of the things I love and hate about Din Djarin is he seems to be, like, not that great at fighting. So, like, I feel like if he didn't have that armor, he'd be toast.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
like,
definitely.
I'm not sure if he puts luck into the equation so often he just gets lucky, but, like, he gets his butt kicked quite often. And, like, man, like, what would have happened if those Mandalorians didn't show up and they were still just jabbing him with axes and he was drowning?
He would have definitely
that really
died.
wasn't tactically very smart. He saw the cage open, so there's obviously a cage. He's like, oh, I'll just jump in there.
I know John Campy has been on this forever that the biggest problem with Mandalorian is they have him get his ass kicked too much to the point where, like, he's almost not a good protagonist.
I don't think he's a good. That's the reason why I don't like it. But then the reason why I do like it is because his skills lie elsewhere. Like, he is definitely smart. He's strategically really good. Like, he's planned things out really well when it comes to, the episode where they rob the prison, or where he joins up with the people and goes to the prison ship. But, like, he plans things out well, and I think he's smart. But, like, when it comes to fighting, like, he seems like if he didn't have all those fancy tools, he really wouldn't be that great.
Batman. Sorry.
Wait, did you say Batman?
Batman still kicks a lot more ass than Din Djarin ever does.
No, I love
Batman is one of the top martial artists in the world.
I love Batman, but have you ever seen this? What is it called? The superhero cafe skits between Batman and Superman, and then they have Mario come in there the one time, and he's like, "I'm just like you. I wear a costume and have no powers."
Oh man. Well, okay. As long as you're not serious about
No,
the fact
I
that
love
Batman beats his stuff.
I love Batman. Batman's
Batman
great.
doesn't need his utility belt to beat up people.
Yeah. Look at me and my bat phone. Want to know my secret identity?
Not even accurate. Mario has powers. Jump twice.
Yeah, you seen him jump?
Oh man, those skits are awesome. No, I get what you're saying. I dig. He needs to kick some ass a bit more. I know he did at the beginning of the season, which was cool, and then the beginning of last season, which was cool. But if you take out basically the season opener of both seasons, it's heavily against him.
Yeah, it beats up thugs.
So in episode 3 of season 1, he kicks quite a lot of ass. I mean, he gets kind of saved by the Mandos because there's way too many bounty hunters, but he does really well against a lot of bounty hunters and stormtroopers.
But to Thaden's point, because of the gadgets. Yeah, I mean, it really was. I mean, that's part of being a Mando, though, right? Like, very tech savvy. So, I get it. I just like to see him.
He takes a beating. He uses his armor. He takes the blaster bolt.
Like,
which I think that's totally cool, but when he's underwater getting his ass kicked, that's
I just have this horrid feeling that we're going to see Ahsoka put him on his ass.
I mean, she can definitely do
that.
That
I would be all right with.
There's
because
no
Ahsoka's
chance
a
that she couldn't do that. Yeah.
Although, at the same time, I'm really looking forward to how this is going to look, because I mean, we're looking at a post Return of the Jedi Ahsoka. She has to be quite a bit older at this point.
But at the same time, still not that old. Like, in reality, she's about 40 years old. So... Okay,
I've never really ran the number, so I'm not exactly sure about that. But
you don't know about the aging of Togrutas?
We have
Togrutas. Like 40,
no,
45.
we don't.
Yeah, somewhere in there. She's still relatively young. So...
Katan should be like 50, 55
I'm looking
in this
forward
episode.
to seeing if they portray her as like a total, just an older version of herself. Did she go wise sage of sorts, kind of like what's alluded to at the end of Rebels?
As far as I know, and I don't think this is spoilery, we're not seeing her appear in the whole white getup with the random pole thing. As far as I know, her costume looks very similar to what we see at the end of Clone Wars Season 7. And so I think she's going to be... I think we're going to get to see her kick some ass. I don't think she's going to be there just for a little bit of dialogue. As far as we know, there was something filmed physically with Ahsoka. So we'll have to see if that happens.
As far as what was my favorite favorite aspect or scene of the episode, it was definitely when like I said, you got your cultural headbutting. They basically straight up say that you're in a cult, buddy.
Okay. So when
he does his typical, where did you get that armor? Which I thought was just freaking hilarious, because we all know who Bo-Katan is.
Yeah, but can we put I'm glad you brought this up, because I was going there after our best and worst points here, or best moments and least favorite moments. Is, let's be real. I know everyone's like, oh, well, what's it mean? Because, she didn't keep her helmet on and he did. What about this is the way? It means they didn't fucking cast anybody as Din Djarin until halfway through season 1, which is fact. It's not like they were like, oh, yeah, by the way, Pedro Pascal, he's in. They already had half the first season in the books before he was ever casted. It's like, that's why he keeps the helmet on at the end of the day. It's very well known that Pedro Pascal was going up against another guy that appeared in Game of Thrones. The guy's name slipping my mind though. But yeah, no, he was
Kit
not.
Harington?
No, it wasn't Kit Harington. I can't remember.
I think there's still some merit though with the approach they took. I mean, Mandalorians have always been very, divided into different sects with different observances and
I get that, but the
spins on the tradition.
I think the point was to have like this cool, mysterious guy who's like, oh, what's behind the mask and stuff, because people always love that, and then you reveal it's just a guy.
It's the Boba Fett principle.
It's the same thing. And that's a lot of what makes Boba Fett so cool, or what made him so cool to people to begin with.
To me, it's. I mean, that sounds cool and all, but this is hey, how can we save money, and have Pedro Pascal come on and not actually be in the suit a whole lot, which he's not even this season. And you know, I get it. They wanted to be. They hired the right guy. I mean, Pedro Pascal's voice is fantastic, no matter what you've seen him in. Whether it's I think what was the movie called, Frontier, or Game of Thrones. He's incredible. I remember Tommy and I and Johnny were talking about his casting. Oh, excuse me. When he finally got casted, which was incredible. But at that point, like, it was well known, and basically every trait had reported they didn't have the actual voice actor casted for Mando yet, and that they were using John Wayne's grandson, and I can't remember the other guy's name, to be in the suit. So, you know, I'm glad they turned it into a story element. That's cool, but at the end of the day, the real reason was because they didn't have anybody at that point, and they could save a bunch of money. And you'll always see a TV
it's such
series.
An important story element. I feel like they planned on that, or they would have just cast him earlier on. Like, why would they wait so long if it wasn't the plan? Like, they would just do what makes sense for the story.
I feel
maybe it's a story element that works so you can wait to cast someone, but like, you shouldn't rewrite the story near the end because you just happen to finally cast a guy.
This is coming from someone who likes the sequel trilogy and doesn't like, you know how much, and I'm not shitting on it just because it's a sequel trilogy, but look what they did with that. You shouldn't alter the story, and I'm with this. You shouldn't alter the story just because of public perception, which is what happened with the sequel trilogy.
With the last one.
And I mean, maybe it was in the plans, but you know, at the end of the day, it was, you could cast anybody you wanted. Because if your intent was to keep the helmet, I'm not saying the intent wasn't to keep the helmet on, but, you know, I do believe that Pedro Pascal, the reports of Pedro Pascal wanting the helmet off more are accurate. I don't believe it was all doom and gloom. Like, what's her face? I can't remember what the hell the YouTuber's name is. She blocked me for suggesting that, or for me suggesting that she was full of shit. But, you know, I believe that, you know, more.
Well, maybe if you did it a little nicer, if you said it a little nicer.
Yeah, well, sometimes I can, sometimes I can't.
You suggested that they're full of shit.
Yeah, no, for sure. The problem is basically everybody else did too. So, you know, I'm not saying it wasn't part of the story. I'm not saying Thaden's not right. But at the end of the day, they were going to take this route with this type of character to save money. There's a reason why they use the screencraft technology, because it saves money. They are able to pre-produce everything way ahead of time. But you'll notice that whether it's what was the name of the first planet where they meet Grief Karga, Navarro. So you'll notice, like, you can tell they're in the fuck, what's that called? I just said it. The little screens that they're the technology that you're using.
Yeah, I don't know.
But you can tell that that's what they're using there. It's very small and enclosed, and until they can build a bigger one, you're going to notice that a lot of these battles are small and enclosed. You have to cut corners while doing TV. There's just no way around it. And with time, I'm sure you'll see bigger scale battles, or they'll, you know, for a season finale, they might go, okay, this was great, but for the season finale, we're going to go on location somewhere and do it. But for the most part, this thing is shot using that technology, and so are the other shows coming up. So, you know,
it was very noticeable, like that the whole first season looked like it could have taken place like on a stage, like in a, you know, like if you did like a production of it, you could do it on a stage.
Yeah, no, I think that it'll get better in time. I felt like, as much as I love the first episode this season, the Marshal with Cobb Vanth, I thought it was noticeable at times there too. It was very noticeable in the prison break or whatever the episode was. You were talking about it earlier, Kieran. But it's just TV, guys. They got to cut corners, and the better the show does, the more money they'll sink into it. And I'm sure they have planned a bigger version of this technology so they can do wider scale battles, because it's a time saver. It is the reason you get season 2, is because they had to spend so little time in post because it's almost all ready for when they shoot. So, a long-winded way of saying you're going to get these coincidences in TV shows because you need to save money. It's not like making a $300 million movie. So, before we get to scores, does anybody else have anything they want to bring up about the episode?
I thought it was really good. The action and stuff was all really good.
You know what I do like as well, that it furthered the searching for Mandalorians. It furthered the searching. Well, it talked about the searching for Jedi, and we know that the Jedi is going to be Ahsoka. And it furthered the storyline for the Darksaber.
Yep.
So
and the Empire.
We were saying before, like, what's going to happen with this one? They haven't given us enough. They haven't given us enough. Well, they've continued all the stories through this episode. So you couldn't watch the series without this episode. I feel like you could, if you were doing a rewatch, you'd be like, I'll skip the Spider episode. But you couldn't skip this episode.
No, yeah. I agree. It was cool to see Moff Gideon again, but again, extremely brief. And if the episode was actually, 45 minutes or 50 minutes long, you probably could have spent some time wherever he was too. And it just worries me that we're rushing through the season. We only have 8 episodes. You want to make use of the time, and I just have a hunch that I bet you any money that the next 2 episodes are going to be very short, and because I believe Carl Weathers directs episode 4, and Dave Filoni has episode 5. And if that's the case, I'm betting both of these episodes are going to be shorter, and that's I got to tell you, it's starting to grind my gears a lot. This is supposed to be live action, not animated. So, anything that's good, you want more, right? And I get it, sometimes less is more, but sometimes too little is not enough.
I'm not going to lie. That would be disappointing.
I think even the most optimistic Star Wars fan, if the next 2 episodes come out and they're only about 25 to 30 minutes apiece, that's kind of, I'm not going to say it's a rip-off, but I think it just goes to show you that the show's never going to be like the first episode was of this season, where you're basically getting 1-hour episodes, even though in the build-up to the show, they certainly advertised it as such. All right, let's go through scores then, unless someone else has something they want to add. Anybody? No? All right. I thought Bo-Katan was great, though, and Katie Sackhoff knocked it out of the house. And I think that they built up possible appearances by her later on, either this season or next season. It does sound like this show's eventually, or another show, is going to lead back to Mandalore. That seemed to be the gist I got from this episode, which would be cool. Tommy B, what are you giving it out of 10, man?
I'll give it an 8.5.
Nice. Kieran?
I'm going to go 7.5.
Thaden?
9. I really liked it. It set up so much stuff so well.
Well, we got 4 different scores because I'm going to give it a 5. No, I'm kidding. I'm going to give it an 8. 8 out of 10. So we got 8, 9, 7.5, and 8.5. So, I think when you got 4 scores like that, it tells you the episode was pretty freaking good, but not perfect. Yeah, there you have it. Which means, ladies and gentlemen, we've hit the point in the show again where we usually have 3 people battle it out in a game of Star Wars death. But in this week, it'll be 2 with some slightly altered rules. It's time for the Death Watch.
I claim this sword, and my rightful place as leader of Death Watch.
All right, so because there is no Johnny this week, it'll be brother versus brother. We'll have Kieran playing the role as Savage, and we'll have Thaden playing the role as Savage, and Kieran playing the role of his favorite, Darth Maul. By the way, let the record show that I walked into where Kieran was staying on the weekend, and I was like, "Hey, Darth Maul," and he replied. So. I think that tells something. He doesn't actually hate Maul. Anyway, the way this is going to work is you're each going to pick a category. Each category has an assigned number that I have just assigned since I forgot to assign it earlier. What will happen with the third category is one of you will get 2 questions from it. The other one will get 1. Tommy B will then designate one of the 2 overtime questions to the person that gets 1 question from that category, and we will have 1 saved overtime question. So you will have 5 questions apiece instead of 3, meaning you will have 3 multiple choice options instead of 2. So again, if you need multiple choice, it will only be worth 1 point. And I'm actually really excited for this. I've seen Tommy's questions. I've seen my questions. This is going to...
You have told me this earlier, Sean.
Told you what?
Now I got to add multiple choice for those questions.
Oh, well, don't blame me. Blame Mr. I'm going to let people know an hour before the show that I'm not feeling well and haven't been all day. So
I'm blaming you for telling me now as we start the deadline.
Well, it's a good thing that you have a lot of time to do it, since we won't be getting to it for a while. Just don't be like...
while you're reading your questions and keeping track of the timer.
Well, I'll keep track of the timer all through this and the score.
I guess that's true.
Why don't we just make those questions the last questions for me and Thaden, and we can't use the...
No, that's too... Tommy can come up with multiple choice. Just don't come up with, is it Grand Moff Tarkin, Snuffleupagus, B1, or B2? You know...
Johnny always adds in one funny one, and it's usually pretty good.
It is.
All righty. The reigning defending champion, Kieran? Is it Kieran? It's Kieran. I thought it was Thaden for some reason.
Yeah, I asked the questions last week, so it's not me.
Oh, okay. So
2 times.
Cheater! We gave it to you.
I hate Kieran.
Just let me say this. I got to say this before we go any further. As much as this episode's been fun, tonight has really shown how much I appreciate being in the same studio together, because it's just something missing from it. I don't know, the personal human connection. Although we've had more Tommy B this week, so that's been cool.
It's true.
And yellow.
He's closer to a pimp this week with his yellow.
We just need to get him the hat. Tommy's going to open this random unmarked Christmas gift, and it's going to be like the most ridiculous pimp costume ever. It's going to read "must wear" all the time on air.
He's going to get tons of compliments on it.
Intel Wild will go nuts over it. All right, guys. Kieran, I need you to pick a number between 1 and 10, sir.
1.
No. Thaden.
6.
No. Kieran.
8.
No. Thaden.
I know it's a bullshit number, but 7.
No, Kieran.
3.
No, Thaden. Why does this always happen when I pick the number?
No. Was 2 taken? I don't think 2 was taken.
It's 2.
Hey!
All right, so Thaden, I need you to pick a number between 1 and 3.
2.
All righty.
Oh, I'm so worried.
You should be. Kieran, I need you to pick a number between 1 and 2.
I'll take 3.
He just did. Oh, wait, hang on. Did you pick 2? Did you pick 2? Oh, no, that's right. Sorry. So 3 would be Tommy's category. So that's probably equally worrisome.
Yeah.
So Kieran gets... Thaden gets literature, and Kieran gets movies. And you'll split the games and get an OT question. So Again, remember how the rules work. You have 20 seconds to answer the question. If you ask for a repeat, you'll have 10 seconds to answer. You get 3 multiple choices during this. If you use multiple choice, it is only worth a point. Kieran, you were the reigning, defended, undisputed Death Watch champion. Would you like to go first or second?
I'll go first.
All right. So Kieran's going first. So Tommy, take it away, man.
Okay. Let me pull up my questions.
Actually, do you want me to? I think you sent me the questions. Do you want me to ask them so you can do the?
I just had to pull them up.
Okay.
Remember
I'm
the
good.
timer also.
I have it literally right here.
Okay.
You got it. Great.
I'll even hold it up.
I was a Jedi Master during the last days of the Galactic Republic. Although I had an apprentice in the Disney canon, one wouldn't know this unless they delved beyond films and TV. My death was a shock in the eyes of all. Who am I?
Repeat the question.
Sure. I was a Jedi Master during the last days of the Galactic Republic. Although I had an apprentice in the Disney canon, one wouldn't know this unless they delved beyond films and TV. My death was a shock in the eyes of all. Who am I?
Five seconds.
Luke Skywalker?
Nope.
I have no idea.
Luke Skywalker
I
was
thought I
a
did.
Jedi Master in the last days of the Galactic Republic.
Yeah, no, that was.
Yeah, no. I think
that was my. I threw that out because it's a person. I have no idea.
Sorry, I had to.
Who is it?
Who was
Mace
the?
Windu.
He had a Padawan?
Depa Balaba. Caleb Doom, Kanan Jarrus's master.
Okay.
Nice.
You wouldn't know that
What?
unless you delved
Mace
beyond
Windu
films and TV.
Trained Depa Balaba?
You wouldn't know that unless you delved beyond films and TV.
I feel like I remember that from the Mace Windu comics.
All
feel
right.
like-
Yeah.
You would know it. That's why I specifically
Yeah.
specified that.
That's
You
good.
would know, 'cause I didn't
That
know
was a
it.
good one. Yeah.
In the
that.
category of you're screwed, Thaden. Actually, you know what? I'm 99% sure Thaden's going to get this first question.
The death was great. I just want to go back and look at this real quick. My death was a shock in the eyes of all.
I like that.
I was smirking so hard, trying so
I knew
hard.
that was
not-
it. I
It's
You
like
used
getting
my own
balls.
trick on me.
Yeah,
Unlimited power. All righty. Thaden.
All right. Time for me to cry.
Yeah, I will have the timer up too. Thaden, the question is, I was in the Phantom Menace. In some sense, my allegiances changed. I died before the original trilogy. Who am I?
Well, that's kind of vague. Crap. My allegiances changed.
5 seconds.
Repeat the question.
All right. Watch the wording. I was in the Phantom Menace. In some sense, my allegiances changed. I died before the original trilogy. Who am I?
Fuck, what's that guy's name?
3 seconds.
Is it maybe Eth Koth?
No.
Dang.
We were looking for it. I don't even remember his first name, but basically, we were looking for Captain Panaka.
Ah, yep, I get what you mean by the allegiances changed.
Yeah.
The other option I was thinking was Quinlan Voss, so I wasn't going to get that one without multiple choice.
All righty. Tommy, back to you.
All right. Question number 2. I do not appear in the Legends canon. I was a captain in the Rebel Alliance. I died on the planet of Scarif. Who am I?
Repeat the question.
I do not appear in the Legends canon. I was the captain in the Rebel Alliance. I died on the planet of Scarif. Who am I?
Multiple choice.
A. Hera Syndulla. B. Iden Versio. C. Cassian Andor. D. Gideon Hask.
I will take Cassian.
Correct.
That's who I was going to guess, but I didn't know if I was right. I was also thinking, what if it was
There
what's
might
his
have been
name?
others on Scarif
Akbar's
who
son.
died.
Isn't Akbar's son die there?
No, Akbar's son is in one of the later movies.
Yep.
Oh, yeah, okay.
What's the guy's name?
There could have
I know
been
who you're
other
talking about.
captains
Radis.
on the Battle of
Admiral
Scarif.
Radis.
Radis,
Less-
aka
lesser
Steven
known, but I
Stanton.
didn't go after that.
Okay, either way.
Alrighty, here we go. Question number 2.
That's he got one on
point for
that,
the
right?
good guys.
Yeah,
Okay.
1 point for there. And he used a multiple choice. Thaden, here we go. I was the grandchild of a powerful force user. I myself became a war hero. I was killed by my own blood. Who am I?
First name, multiple, last name choice. I'm not going to know the name.
Alrighty, let me pull up the multiple choices for here. Is
Any
it
of the names?
A, Jaina Solo, B, Anakin Solo, C, Jason Solo, or D, Gisela Kenobi?
Balls. Jason Solo.
That is correct for a point.
Hey! Ah, sweet. The first 3 you listed were the people I was trying to remember the names of.
Well, Gisela Kenobi's not a real person, so.
Yeah, I wasn't sure about that.
All right, Tommy, question number 3.
Question number 3. In character, I only appear in the Disney canon. Despite this, I've technically been part of Star Wars since the very beginning. I've had my hand on Kessel. Who am I?
I didn't. You cut out on that last.
Free repeat here.
Sure.
Just the last one.
In character, okay, I met my end on Kessel. Who am
Okay. Okay, give me the whole repeat.
In character, I only appear in the Disney canon. Despite this, I've technically been part of Star Wars since the very beginning. I met my end on Kessel. Who am
Yeah, multiple choice.
R3D8, HK47, T3 and 4, L337.
The last one, L3.
Correct. Because L3 is part of the Falcon.
Well, that's
They
another point for Kieran. He only has one multiple choice left. You know what I love about that, and I've been saying it for a while, is it's L3, right? I remember I said it when we seen it with the Underworld guys, and that night we did a show. How many L's are in Millennium Falcon?
Nice.
There's
like
3.
Huh.
So,
I thought you were going to say
I like that.
basically since wheat.
so
Yeah. That is definitely the intent.
Alrighty, here we go.
Oh, it's that time again.
Yeah, it is. You're probably gonna have a tough time with this one, but man, is it such a good book. Tommy, if you're getting rid of this one, you're fired. Alrighty. I was in a book that immediately followed the events of Revenge of the Sith. I was a Jedi Master, and I was killed by Darth Vader, but not before finding out he was Anakin Skywalker. Who am I?
Scan through all the names I can think of.
I don't know what book this is.
Let's look at the time as well.
5 seconds.
Repeat the question.
Alrighty.
Just in case, I'll think of it.
I was in a book that immediately followed the events of Revenge of the Sith. I was a Jedi Master. I was killed by Darth Vader, but not before finding out he was Anakin Skywalker. Who am I?
Okay, multiple choice.
Alrighty. Was it A, Thone Shrine, B, Roan Shrine, C, Joan Shrine, or D, Cone Shrine?
A.
That is incorrect.
Damn it! Was it Cone Shrine?
No, it was Roan. It was Roan Shrine. And the book you're thinking of is Tommy, or that you couldn't remember, is The Rise of Lord Vader, I believe it's called. And it's amazing. It tells the story of Vader after... It's Legends now, but it tells the story of Vader after Revenge of the Sith, and also gives you an idea... I don't... Is that a special edition?
It's like a...
Oh, no, that's way too thin. That's way too...
Yeah, this is like a novelization of the life of Anakin Skywalker.
No. This is an actual novel.
What you just read isn't familiar to me. This is The Rise and Fall of Darth Vader. It's
a really good book. It dives into what Obi-Wan and the Lars are going through right after Revenge of the Sith. Dives into Vader, dives into Palpatine, also dives into the Organas. And a really... I won't spoil too much because I think you guys should read it or listen to it, but Vader basically has a really close call with Leia and Bail. And
it's not canon, I'm assuming.
It's not canon now, no, but it was a book one of the books, though, that George Lucas actually had a hand in. So sadly, Thaden does not get the point, and he used a multiple choice for it too. So that's a big blow to the chin. He has one left now. They both have one left. We're moving on to question number 4 for Kieran, Tommy, which would be one of your overtime ones.
Yep. Okay.
You can give them the category though.
Oh. Yeah, I was going to say, I didn't do the category right.
Just tell me what category it's from.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to think about that. I guess it's a little bit of everything, to be totally honest with you. I guess it fits film, though.
Of course it does. Thaden's like, of course, film.
Film/TV. Film/TV. Yeah. I was a Jedi Master during the last days of the Galactic Republic. You know... One moment, please. Let me stall that. I need to fact check the clue.
Okay, well, when you're fact checking, why don't you save that for Kieran's?
We're good. Okay, I needed to fact check that they were a Jedi Master. Sorry about that. I need to fact check that because that's like a major blow. I was a Jedi Master during the last days of the Galactic Republic. I was the main character in Star Wars Jedi Starfighter. I died in battle prior to the events of Order 66. Who am I?
That I don't know if that question's worded properly.
Repeat the question.
I was a Jedi Master during the last days of the Galactic Republic. I was a main character in Star Wars Jedi Starfighter. I died in battle prior to the events of Order 66. Who am I?
Adigalia?
Yeah, that's correct.
It's correct with a misworded question. Because she dies during.
What was misworded
she
about?
dies during Order 66.
No, she doesn't. Sabajo Press kills her.
Then who am I confusing her with?
That does happen.
You're confusing her with the one that was in Clone Wars as well.
She dies on the speeder bike. Yeah, I'm sure you know who I'm referring to.
Oh,
Yeah.
I know exactly who you're referring to because
they look similar.
If you don't know, you think that's her. So.
Yeah, no, she has a different name. I know. I forget what her name is, though.
So,
but anyway.
In order to continue the game here, Thaden needs to get a point. He needs at least one. And I think...
two on the next one if Kieran biffs it. Wait, what is Kieran at? No, Kieran's ahead of me.
Kieran's at 4, you're at 1.
Yeah, okay.
So, at least we're going to a category you're good at.
Well...
we're going to Star Wars video games. And your question is... Hang on, let me make sure I have my clock close. I died in the cinematic movies. I was a Jedi Master. My death was at the hands of a Force user in a particular video game. Sorry, pardon me. Let me restart that. I died in the cinematic movies. I was a Jedi Master. My death at the hands of a Force user in a particular video game is different than my death in the movies. Who am I?
Obi-Wan?
That is correct for 2 points.
Sweet. That was so confusing because you said he died twice, and then I figured out the one character I know who dies twice. Or in that way.
I mean, Shaq-Ti was an option too, and she died multiple times, but yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
All right, so we got...
in the same movie and game. Or not same movie.
Starkiller throws Kenobi into the Falcon engine, basically.
I forgot about that, actually. I was just thinking of the ghost thing. I forgot that you actually kill him before that.
Yeah. All right.
Those games are insane.
Kieran can win it if he answers without multiple choice.
Don't do it.
But he can still put the pressure on massively if he gets it right, even with a point, because it would mean Thaden couldn't use his last multiple choice. Right. What? This is me. Sorry, this is me. Yeah, I'm sitting here waiting for Tommy. This is me. Apologies. So, Kieran.
Yeah, I'm like, I only have one overtime question left. I don't know what you want from me.
Kieran, in the category of Star Wars video games. Here we go. I was a powerful Force user. I have a long history in the Star Wars movies. My death in a video game happens far earlier than it did in the movies. Who am I?
Repeat the question.
All righty. I was a powerful Force user. I have a long history in the Star Wars movies. My death in a video game happens far earlier than it did in the movies. Who am I?
Multiple choice.
All righty. Your options are... where do we go here? There we go. 1, Obi-Wan Kenobi. 2, Darth Vader. 3, Yoda. Or 4, Palpatine/Sidious.
I will take Palpatine.
That is correct for a point.
You kill him in episode 3 of the game, don't you?
Yeah.
Damn it.
Oh man, he presents Anakin with his new Sith lightsaber after Anakin kills Obi-Wan on Mustafar, and Anakin throws it up in the air and then catches it and stabs.
I think it was basically like the game was released a little bit before the movie.
It was,
so they just threw that in there so no one would believe it. Okay, so Kieran's at what? And I'm at what?
Kieran's at 5, you're at 3, which means you need to answer without Multiple choice. And I have your last question.
Category?
Star Wars video games.
Games as well? Okay.
Yeah, here we go. I have a hunch we might be heading to that overtime question, Tommy. All right. Here we go. Question number 3. I showed you the way and introduced you to your surroundings. I was a member of the Republic and I died so you could look at Kira. I can't. I showed you the way and introduced you to your surroundings. I was a member of the Republic and I died so you could live. Who am I?
Oh my God.
Fuck.
5 seconds.
Repeat the question.
All right, you only have 10 seconds and you can't use multiple choice. I showed you the way and introduced you to your surroundings. I was a member of the Republic and I died so you could live. Who am I?
Oh no.
5 seconds. 4 seconds. 3, 2, 1. Time's up. Kieran is your winner. Do you know what game it's from at least?
Is it the guy from the beginning of Knights of the Republic?
It is. It's
going at the
Trask
end.
Olgo. We were
Fuck,
looking for
I remember
Trask.
the name Trask too.
Oh my God. Wow. I thought Thaden had a softball there and Kieran ends up the winner again. Oh my God. I thought we were guaranteed overtime when Thaden ended up with that question, being that he's played Knights recently too. I'm like, oh, even Kieran was just like, oh, what the fuck? Come on. Wow, that's weird. I didn't even play it that time.
God damn it. That was just from the universe, the second one.
Yeah, I don't know why I did that.
I don't ask questions again.
Wow.
Damn it.
Johnny automatically gets to go to questions
failed.
next week. So it'll be Johnny and Thaden with the questions next week. And Tommy, Kieran, and myself participating in the Death Watch. I cannot believe we're not going to overtime, but for shits and giggles, Tommy, what was the overtime question?
Okay. Why the hell not?
Can I win if I get it?
Let's see
Yeah.
who would have won if you didn't blow that last one.
I have appeared in Star Wars since the beginning. It is often said that I did not get the praise that I deserved. Although I have a death in the Legends canon, I do not currently in the Disney canon. Who am I?
3PO?
Okay, he says 3PO, and who does Kieran say?
That was my first guess too.
Oh,
My
you're
other
both
guess is
wrong.
R2?
Chewbacca.
I was thinking
Oh,
that too
yeah.
after
Who
I said
didn't get
R2,
a
but
medal?
he was since the beginning. That's true.
Yeah.
It's
Wow.
true. The thing makes sense. Yeah, that's actually a great question.
I was thinking since the beginning, like in all of them, but no, he was there since the beginning, but he didn't. That doesn't mean he was in all of them.
Wow. Kieran has won
that's
3 weeks in a row. That's definitely the first that has happened, and it seems.
Maybe if he didn't get movies.
I mean,
I'm gonna let you guys in on a little secret. So every single time you guys say pick a category, I think who made 2 of them and who made 1 of them, and then I think, would that person put their questions first or would that person put their question last? And I always think, like, I'm not going to pick 2 because I want the movies category, and I'm sure it'll be 1 or 3. And then I'm like, Sean would probably put his questions first because he probably did it last minute, and then just threw Tommy's at the end. So I was
I
like,
had mine done early today. I even showed him.
Throw him
I
under
almost-
the
Not for me.
bus.
I always overthink which one will be movies, and then I always guess it right.
Wow.
Damn it.
Either I'm incredibly lucky or I'm a genius.
I'm going to go with
Well, you're
incredibly
definitely not
lucky on that one. Wow. We have come to the end of another episode of the Imperial Remnant Broadcast. Just like to let everybody know they can check us out on our... Oh, that's the wrong button, Sean. Way to go. You can check us out on social media at the following places: the Fandom Empire Den group on Facebook, on Twitter, the Fandom Empire, or Fandom at Fandom Empire Now, at Star Wars IRB, on Instagrams, Fandom Empire Now and Star Wars IRB, and on Facebook for the pages, it's Fandom Empire, Halloween Kills 2020, and Supernatural Revisited. Kieran, Thaden, where can everybody find you guys at?
You can find me in the corner crying for the next week. That's it. Kieran?
You can find us at what's our show called again? Rogue Sons.
I'm pretty sure it's Rogue One, a
podcast.
Star Wars podcast.
Rogue Sons.
For
So,
legal reasons, it's
yeah.
not Rogue One.
Wow. Tommy, where can everybody find you at, man?
Find me hanging around Facebook. Catch us on the Fandom Empire Den Facebook group, the group for the channel. Check out Future of Star Wars, Future of Halloween, and all of our other groups and pages. If you want to find me on other platforms, you can catch me on Instagram and Twitter at TommyB1650.
Yeah, and you can, don't forget, check out Thaden and Kieran's other podcast, Rogue Sons, a Star Wars podcast, on all podcast platforms. And in 2021, the Imperial Remnant Broadcast, starting in January, will be available on all podcatchers as well. For now, it is just a YouTube show, but soon it'll be a little bit more. Big thanks to everybody who joined us tonight. You'll probably be able to check us out Thursday night doing something or another. And stay tuned for updates on Haddonfield the Vanished, and a little something else that we're going to bring your way. But for Johnny, who couldn't be here tonight, Kieran, Thaden, and Tommy, I'm Sean. Always remember that the character at the beginning of Knights of the Old Republic is, in fact, Trask Olgo. Wow, I can't believe you missed that one. And now that he's stuck in his head in shame, that'll do it for us. We'll see you next week, where I guarantee one way or another, Kieran will not win.